Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Two for Talking podcast. I'm your host, Corey Tusick. I've got comedian Joe Bartnick alongside. Joe will be in Boca Raton. Well, actually, when you're listening to this, it will have already happened. So that's a terrible intro. But Joe, then you have a show at Sea Legs in Huntington Beach on August 15th, and then the Boston Comedy Studio at the end of August. Go to joebartnick.com. Josh Yohe is on assignment right now. So we have a special one for you. We have the lead guitarist from the Commonheart, Mike Minda, the best guitar player in Pittsburgh. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I need to get that clap popping a little more.
Yeah.
So Mike, you and Joe, I'm sure I'm going to chime in as much as I can because I don't know rock and roll history as much as you guys. But Joe, I know you're just eager to get some questions out, and we'll talk a little Steelers and Penguins too. But let's let her rip. And how long you been how long have you been playing a guitar?
Oh, I've been playing guitar since I was 11, which was 20 some years ago. And my dad taught me. He's a guitar player. I grew up playing in his band, and really, he tried to get me into guitar, for a couple of years. He got me a guitar when I was 9. I wouldn't play. And then he showed me the DVD of AC/DC Live at Donington at the Monsters of Rock Festival in 1991. And from there, they opened with Thunderstruck. It just grabbed me. Angus Young was my hero for the longest time. Still is, so I've been playing ever since.
I think that's how me and Mike bond, among other things. Is I remember when I was getting beat by nuns in Catholic school, they're like, who's your hero? And I'm like, Angus Young.
Yes, he was my hero. I was like the shortest guy in my class until 10th grade, and then I shot up like a foot, late growth spurt, and I actually was like upset about it because I wanted to be 5'2" like Angus. I was mad I grew.
Well, you'd be the size of my mom, Ann. She's probably now she's about 4'9", but her height was 5'2". And they had this. I had the school white outfit going to Catholic school, but and I was now I like the Stones maybe a little more because of just their catalog. But I always say AC/DC was my favorite band when I was 10, when I was 20, when I was 30, when I was 40, and now I'm 50. But I just want to say thanks for coming in. And it really is an honor to have you because, there's a lot of great guitar players in Pittsburgh, but I don't think any are better than you. And I just watch you crush with the Commonheart. If you guys have never seen the Commonheart, they're a rock and roll band. They have a horn section, Clinton Clegg on vocals, and it's just an amazing experience. My girlfriend Rachel just went this weekend, and you guys blew out the Club Cafe, which is how great you guys are as a favor. Opening up their venue, reopening up, and kind of you can play a 5,000 seater in Pittsburgh, but you guys played there, so that was just very nice of you. But we'll talk rock and roll to where in about 10-15 minutes. But look at the sports at the beginning here because you actually, much like Lemieux and Yager, you played it, and I guess Yager not. Well, maybe as a different, but like you, Sid and Gino, you played at PPG Arena. Go ahead.
Yeah. The Commonheart, we have our song Names off our album For Work or Love, and due to a connection in the Penguins organization and what we've done in Pittsburgh, we were able to get access to PPG Paints Arena for the music video for Names, and it's a real fun one. We're kind of like playing, and the whole vibe of the video is like we broke into PPG Paints Arena to play on the ice, and then we're getting chased by security. I hid in a garbage can at one point, which was a real garbage can, and it smelled like one. I just poked my head out of a PPG Paints Arena garbage can. It was a freaking blast. But yeah, that's on YouTube. It was like super cool to just be in there and, empty seats and just,
Did you get to go on the actual ice then? Like you weren't on skates, were you?
No skates. I mean, there was the floor covering on there,
Okay, good. I was gonna say that
we
could get a little dangerous.
Yeah. And I recently got the mullet too,
Oh, you are like, you were in Yagerland there.
Yeah, going a little Yagery.
I love it.
Now, because Commonheart has million fans. How did you guys form? Just a little background on the Commonheart.
Yeah, Commonheart started with Clinton, the singer, and him and Sean McGregor, the original drummer. They kind of started the group with a couple other people. With actually a girl named Ariana Powell was playing guitar. She plays, I think now with Halsey and Olivia Rodrigo. She moved out to LA. She was working with Chris Brown, Nick Jonas, like big pop star. Like she's doing all the cool stuff. But actually, the drummer Sean was my manager at Guitar Center in Monroeville. He wrote me in when I was 20, just turning 21, which was a good age because they were all worried I wouldn't be able to get into the bars. And he was like, "Hey, Clinton, this kid plays guitar," and I joined the band, and I've been with them ever since. And the lineup's changed or whatever, but it's me and Clinton these days, kind of being the old heads in the band. And really the group we've got now has been around since like 2017, 2018, pretty much all the same members.
Yeah, it's indescribable too. I mean, you guys are a rock band, a blues band, a funk band, a little bit of everything with just the most killer horn section. Every musician in your band is just really tight, and you guys just jam. And Clinton's a whole thing onto himself as far as frontmen.
Oh, he's the
voices.
Yeah, he's super talented.
But you shred. I mean, you shred. And your side projects, like I saw you do a Allman Brothers tribute. Tell us a little bit about that and your other side project. Yeah, like Mike Minda and Friends. What are all the bands you help? Or
a lot. I mean, obviously, I support Randy, our mutual friend, in his rambles. I play with that, where we kind of pay tribute to the band and all the adjacent music to them. The Butler Street Revival is what we call our Allman's tribute, with me and Glenn Struther from Northside Organ Trio on guitar. And they had hit me up wanting to slide guitars to do like the Duane Allman stuff. And it was right post COVID. So we were able to just like keep rehearsing. And we just dug into all the live Allman stuff. So we like doing all that stuff. I have another group recently, Joe, I know you missed the show, but we did Mike Minda's Be Free is what we call it. And it's really just like, right now it's mostly covers. I want to write some originals for it, but it's just an excuse to play all my favorite guitar music: Clapton, Santana, Peter Frampton, Robin Trower, Jimi Hendrix, all that stuff from the 60s and 70s. And another group that I really like, we're not playing as much anymore, but we have a record out, Colin Southfield and the Mushroom Country Band, which is sort of like an old school, like Waylon Jennings sort of country group. There's a couple tracks out there, an EP, and that's some fun stuff too. But yeah, just any chance I can play and create something cool with people, I always try to do that.
I will definitely have to check out the Waylon Jennings inspired stuff. I love me some Waylon Jennings.
Yeah, dude, me too.
I love the Waylon Jennings line from Superbad, if you remember that. When he says, "You don't want an asshole where your face was," Waylon Jennings.
Waylon Jennings.
We'll get through some more musical history, but let's talk some football history. When did you become aware of the Pittsburgh Steelers? What's your first kind of memories of being a Steelers fan?
I went growing up, like 2001, 2002. I was like 8 or 9. Getting into football and baseball. It was Pirates and Steelers, and I still remember actually the only time I've ever cried about sports was the 2002 divisional series between the game between the Steelers and the Titans.
Oh my God.
Dwayne Washington,
yes.
It was like the craziest thing, because I was like 8 years old, 9 years old, and I really thought they were going to make it to the Super Bowl, and they kicked the first field goal. It was like tied up. The Titans kicked the first field goal, and Cowher iced the kicker, and the fireworks were going off because they like missed that there was a timeout. They had to like cancel all that. Then they kick another one, and Dwayne Washington ran into the kicker. And if you look at the replay, he's like looking at the field goal. Like he doesn't even care. He just happened to run into the kicker. And then they kicked the third one, and he missed it. Yeah. And so I was bawling my eyes out. I was like so mad. That was a frustrating time. But then, right after that, we had 2 years, and then Ben came in and saved the franchise.
Absolutely. Who's your favorite Steeler of all time?
Favorite Steeler of all time? Boswell.
Wow.
Dude, I got jersey. That's the only Steelers jersey I own. Actually, I got a name as Zaraway
awesome.
jersey. I have a name as Zaraway jersey, just because, But Boswell, I mean, he's my guy. I mean, he's so clutch. He never.
Now, is it because
were
you a kicker in high school or something like that?
No, but I wish I was. That's the way to do it.
Did you play any sports, or were you always just a musician that was not just? I mean, you're like a killer. But were you a music guy the whole time, or did you?
I played. I wanted to be a baseball player when I was like 6th grade, 7th grade. I was a little dude. I'd make contact, but it was hard for me to, rip the ball. And yeah, I mean, I grew up watching the Pirates, as terrible as they were at the time and still are. But luckily, like, I found guitar because baseball was not going to work out for me. But I still, I love sports, and I golf these days, and I'm terrible at that. But
you could probably play for the Pirates.
I definitely could play for the Pirates these days.
I'm on a constant, like, Rolling Stones are constantly in my feed. So about once a day, I see Keith Richards swinging the axe, the guy who runs on stage.
Oh yeah.
With all the balloons coming down at the Stones concert. Yeah. He gives a pretty good whack on the shoulder. But because you're such a good guy, Mike, and a star, and thanks for coming on this week, I will let you talk a little Pirates. And when did you lose the faith, or did you still have the faith?
No, I lost the faith, as everybody did. I've lost. I mean, it's like, honestly, the past 2 years, just has been brutal. The trade deadline, and then that Rockies series recently. I mean, it's just like, I don't know what's going on, man. No, we don't have to go down this road.
No,
there's nothing there.
What was your apex as a fan? Like, what hooked you, or just the sport itself?
The sport itself. I really want to root for baseball, man. I want a good team. I think as Pittsburghers, we deserve that. We deserve a good baseball team.
Mike, I completely agree. Like, I know that Joe doesn't like to talk about baseball, but like, and like you'll have somebody like Mark Madden. He, doesn't. I mean, he'll talk about baseball in the right way, where he's just crushing the ownership.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm sitting there. I'm getting to the point where I'm like, we need to have an actual revolt, because when the Pirates are good, and when it's actually fun, like, it's actually good. It's really good for the city. It's good for people to go.
I love the sport. I just want to root for a good baseball team, like the generations of past did, and I really never had that, but yeah, I mean, it's here's the messed up thing, because everyone talks about, like, well, maybe they'll sell the team and move it out of town, but I want the Pirates, that's what I want. I want to have the Pirates in Pittsburgh, but I want them to actually compete and want to be winners, and
what a fraudulent ownership. Like, not to go too much on the Pirates, but like, Joe, you could really get in on this. Like, isn't that a fraud, what's happening with the Pirates? Because I mean, I know they were great to my son when he went through everything with children, so thank you for that. But Bob Nutting is literally a fraudulent owner who is just trying to extract money and not compete for a championship.
Well, exactly. But my thoughts on the Pirates are, hey, you want to bring your kids to a baseball game, go ahead, enjoy the night out in the city. I just can't listen to people dissect the Pirates as a baseball team. To me, it's the same people that, like, think that wrestling's real.
That's very good point.
Dude, I mean,
like, Pirates are idlewild.
This happened. It's like, dude, it's fake. Do you realize that it's fake? And that's like when people say, oh, well, if the Pirates do this, it's like, yeah, they're not going to win. Like,
it's like going to Idlewild, Joe. It's like going to Storybook Forest. Take your kids, see Little Bo Peep. Yeah, great.
Yeah, have a bobblehead.
Have a good time. If they win, they win. That's fantastic. But grown men dissecting what they're doing, and and reporters that pretend that it's the biggest sham. It's just a con. It really is. It's a con, because It's Lucy in the football. Oh no, we're going to keep these guys. We're going to pay them. We're going to be contenders. No, they never are. They haven't done it for 25 years.
No, and you like people that complain about the Penguins right now. It's like the Steelers, do try to win as well. Like, but maybe they just try to win 9 games every year. That's pretty much seems to be the MO there for Mr. Tomlin. But people are complaining about the Penguins and the fact that they're, not completely tearing it down. Like nobody's happy with what's going on, but you can tell that they're trying to win. Like they're trying to put, maybe last year they knew they weren't going to make the playoffs. That might be the first time. I mean, Joe, you said it on the podcast. You were like, that was the moment it hit me. It was like in the middle of the summer. You were like, we feel like a team on decline. And I was like, oh God, he's right. Like this isn't going to be a good year.
Yeah, no, I am Mr. Positive with the Penguins, and getting to the Penguins. Like, what's your Penguin fandom?
I mean, it was always hard for me to watch because I grew up in the country and we didn't have cable. So really, my first exposure to the Penguins was like that 08-09 era. When they were. I know. When they're in the playoffs, and my brother and I could just watch them on NBC, and watch the playoffs and the Stanley Cup Finals and everything. But these days, I mean, I think I kind of agree with Madden when he says, signing Malkin and Letang was probably their downfall, like re-upping their contracts. But I agree they're kind of working on it, and at least they're trying. That's all you can ask of a franchise, especially in Pittsburgh. It's like you want them to just want to win, and that's yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, Letang is going to be around forever, I think.
Yeah, it's it is. I mean, I wanted to keep Malkin forever. Letang, he's Letang. You love me, hate him. He's not a drop dead Hall of Famer, even though the Athletic says he's on the cusp. I don't think so. But now we did our sports section. We can get back to the rock and roll. So you started playing with your dad.
Yeah.
How was that? Was he tough on you, or was he chill?
Not tough on me at all. I mean, if anything, he was too generous. He'd give me the solos. He'd always want me to take the solos. And I mean, we'd play like your typical cover band songs in his group, Mary Jane's Last Dance, some George Thorogood, I Drink Alone. But then sometimes, like my dad always like bringing out the weird stuff, which even when I do covers, I always want to do something that people don't hear. And he'd pull out like My Wife by The Who, or something like that. And we played Jessica together, harmonized guitars. And he was always very generous. At first it was like 2 songs he'd let me sit in, the 2 songs I knew or whatever. And then it was like, I'd do the first set and then go home, because it was like the bar was shutting down the food and I couldn't be in there at 14, But, I never went to music school, but the education I got from playing with 45, 50-year-olds was way better than you could get at music school, because it's like those guys have been around the block. They know how to jam. They know how to have a great time and stretch the music out. And my dad would be calling audibles, and we'd go into a song that I didn't know, and I'd have to follow him. And it was the greatest learning experience ever, honestly.
No, it seems like his AC/DC was your first band, your first love. Were you a little metalhead kid like I was?
Oh, dude. I mean, I played in a hardcore metal band, actually, and just out of high school. Like I got actually in the gateway was probably Metallica, and then I got into heavier and heavier stuff. And then through high school, it was like, pretty intense screaming stuff that you probably aren't even aware of, Joe, to be honest.
Well, no, because it's funny, because the Metallica was my gateway to saying, okay, this is too much. Because when I was younger, and the Ides used to be Ides comic book store used to be on the north side, kind of where the Pirate Baseball Stadium is right now, right around on Federal Street. And we took the subway, or I think that was a trolley downtown and would walk across the Federal Street Bridge and go to Ides, and that's where I got my first that's where I got Kill 'Em All.
Kill 'Em All.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And that was fantastic. And this is Queensryche, which Queensryche had an EP that 4 songs were the same 4 songs on the front and on the back, and it was totally like rip off Iron Maiden, and we loved it. It's like we found gold, like Queen of the Ride. I can't sing, but it was. I don't know if you know what the album I'm talking about. It's purple.
I don't.
With gold letter. Yeah, Queensryche's first album is literally just like you couldn't tell the difference between them and Iron Maiden. It's like, but it's a fantastic EP. But anyway, getting back to Metallica, and then that was like anything harder than that. I'm just like, no, I can't hack. I'm not that angry.
Yeah. Well, I was that guy like driving in the car, and I'd be listening to metal like at 17, and my dad would be like, I don't know how you listen to this stuff. Or even my wife, because we've been together since high school, she'd be like, I can't, like, this is driving my anxiety up the wall. And I was like, it's calming me down. It makes me feel better. But,
right.
Yeah, I got into some heavy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I name some of the bands. Maybe the fans.
Oh, Lamb of God was the real entrance into like screaming vocals, which actually they played at the Ozzy Memorial recently. And then I got into like really heavy stuff, Whitechapel, Acacia Strain, and there was a band, August Burns Red. They're actually from PA, but yeah, all screaming, mid 2000s underground metal. And I played in a group called Blaring for the Desolate. We were a Christian metal band, and
nice.
And harmonized guitars. It was a freaking blast. We played a spot right down the road from where I live now in Natrona called Scumbags. It was an abandoned skate park or a skate shop, and we'd play on the top of this half pipe, and just they didn't have a license to be putting shows on there. They cut that out. They got shut down at a certain point, but it was some of the best times ever. Just me and friends just playing obnoxiously angry music.
Well, Joe's talked about before, just in, over beers and stuff, he's told me of the crazy places that he's performed comedy, like in his, like, getting started, coming on up. So you mentioned a skate park. Have you ever played a laundromat? Because I know Joe's done a laundromat before, but are there any places on that level that you've ever played? What's the most bizarre venue that you've played?
All right, I can think of 2. One was this show. It was called Dirt Stage. That was in the country. It was like one of the friend bands was putting it on, and it was literally like a mound in a field that they ran electric to. And we just played it in the middle of nowhere. It was awesome, but it was wild. But the other one I can think of is because we were a Christian metal band, this guy from like Johnstown or Altoona, it was like middle PA, like getting towards this middle of the state. He was a pastor, but he liked metal music and he liked getting, people into metal. So we got invited to play on this festival, but we're playing in a church basement with like fluorescent lighting. And like old ladies, like I'm talking 50-year-old ladies are sitting there in chairs watching us, and our singer just like screaming at the top of his lungs, and we're just headbanging. It was the weirdest thing it did not make any sense. And weirdly, all the old ladies were like, "Oh, we like what you're doing." It was a goofy show.
What are some of the lyrics? I mean, like, is it a shot at the devil, or is it like shout at the prophet, or what?
Oh yeah, I mean, we still sang about the devil, but we sang about how he's bad. You can't make metal without singing about the devil,
right?
It was like, don't let him consume you, or something like that.
Yeah, because it's funny because that's when it was like when I started. I'm 55, so I kind of predate. Well, when I was listening to it, it was just hard rock. AC/DC, the Stones,
Iron Maiden. I mean, a lot of that stuff's hard rock. It's just they sing about dark things.
Right. It was like it was like the Who, the Stones, Jimi Hendrix, the 70s, and then it was kind of like just started with I was always Sabbath, but it just started with the second or the British metal invasion, when it was Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and like Saxon. And I was so into that, and we thought that was the best. And then, like, I said, you had the Metallica, and then MTV kind of ruined metal for us guys, except for like I think Cinderella I still liked, but it kind of became hair metal. And after that, I kind of progressed into where, like, I know I love the blues of Muddy Waters and B.B. King, and that led me down to, like, the Grateful Dead and kind of where I'm at now. When did your horizons open after your AC/DC Lamb, then into Lamb of God? When did you kind of become like, oh, I can jam the Allman Brothers and kind of and be in a funk band?
Here's the crazy thing is like in high school, because like middle school it was all classic rock, all the Hendrix, Floyd, Zeppelin, all that. It was like high school is when my dad got me into all the guitar instrumental stuff, like Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, and then Jeff Beck was like game changer for me. And then I got into jazz through all that. Guys like Pat Metheny, Pat Martino, these jazz guys, Wes Montgomery. And so I was listening to like metal and jazz at the same time, kind of branching off all in that high school era, just getting into everything, and even country stuff. Brad Paisley, I don't always like his sort of corporate country songs, but his guitar playing is unbelievable. So yeah, I mean, I kind of branched out from there. Allman Brothers, weirdly, I love Dwayne Allman, but the entrance for me with Allman Brothers was Brothers and Sisters, Dickie Betts.
Yeah, Dickie Betts, man, underrated. Just
underrated.
Mixing that country little twang into, I mean, and all the biggest hits were written by Dickie Betts, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean,
the Allman Brothers,
the biggest radio hits for sure, and actually, like, it was probably 8th or 9th grade, like right around getting into high school. I think I sat there with the CD. My dad had Brothers and Sisters, and I sat there and learned Ramblin' Man and Jessica, the solos, just sitting there with the CD player, starting and stopping, because YouTube was kind of getting going, but we had dial-up internet, so I couldn't watch YouTube videos on how to play. So I had to sit there with the CD player and like listen to the notes. And those solos are still ingrained in me, Dickie Betts.
You brought up an interesting name in rock and roll, and that's Jeff Beck, because Jeff, I mean, he was the original Yardbird, or I guess not the original, I guess Clapton, but then Clapton, Jeff Beck, and then Jimmy Page. So every guitar player loves Jeff Beck. But most people like me, we know a couple songs because it was Rod Stewart and stuff, and we like him. But he's not like, he's not Jimmy Page, Jimi Hendrix, Clapton, whoever you want to name, Keith Richards. What makes him so special to guitar players?
First of all, he was constantly evolving. So it's like the Jeff Beck of the 70s is not the same Jeff Beck of the 90s, but obviously that early stuff with him with Rod Stewart and the Yardbirds is cool blues rock stuff. But then he branched out and started doing the instrumental sort of like more jazz fusion stuff with Blow by Blow and Wired were like the two big albums. And that stuff is unbelievable. He's just creating sounds with the guitar that it's lyrical. It sounds, he plays it more like a vocalist than a guitar player almost. And then he started using the whammy bar more. And then he evolved. And then in the 90s, he was like getting electronic music involved with guitar. He was just always evolving. He was always ahead of the game and always had a way to play one note. Everyone says B.B. King can play one note better than anyone or something like that. Jeff Beck's one of those guys. It's like he could just play one note, and rather than just the note, he moves it around. He adds more to it just with his fingers. It sounds great, So yeah.
I have a $1 million question for you now, I guess. Between Tony Iommi and his Black Sabbath riffs and Keith Richards and his Black Sabbath and the Young Brothers, or maybe even Eddie Van Halen, or maybe the Kinks. Oh, wow. What is your favorite guitar riff of all time? Because I'm a riff guy. I love the riffs. How about 3? Give us 3.
Man, you're really binding them up there.
I don't know if I could even answer that question honestly, But I will tell you the riff I've been jamming on the most these days is Sabbath Bloody Sabbath.
Yes.
Dude. They're tuned down. It's like 1973, and they're tuning their guitars. Tony's tuning his guitar down to C sharp, which is like unheard of back then. It's like the heaviest, with Ozzy passing, I've been, of course, revisiting Sabbath and all that stuff. And that is like one of the heaviest riffs of all time. And it was like 50 years ago.
And the changes in that song are incredible. I'm not a musician, but it's like such a diverse song.
It's heavy, and then it's light, and then it's the heaviest thing you've ever heard. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, they don't make music like that these days.
No, I'll tell you. No, they don't. But I'll tell you, you guys did put a hell of an Ozzy tribute with the War Pigs, with the brass and the ladies singing. That was just a fabulous rent. And I think we've seen. I was telling the people I was with, how many War Pigs renditions have we seen online the last 2 weeks since the passing? And yours was right up there. And I hope someone was recording it.
Oh, I'm sure it got recorded. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I've never played that song before live. Actually, I've been telling Clinton we should be doing that for like 8 years. And finally, it just took Ozzy dying for us to do it,
Well, Mike rocks. But who else rocks? And that is our number one sponsor, the man, the myth, the legend. Insurance is the best insurance guy in Western Pennsylvania, maybe the country. And that is Bill Neofus. Do you have anything to say about Bill Neofus, Corey?
Yeah, I'm looking. Sorry, Mr. Bill Neofus. I was literally like, oh my God, I need to get his phone number up. But it's neofusinsurance.com. Bill Neofus. Not only is he the best, I know that he likes music, and I am sure he is a fan of the Commonheart, because Bill is the man of the people in Pittsburgh. I've had lunch with him. You get to know him one time. He is a Yinzer through and through who loves everything Pittsburgh. So we know he loves the Commonheart. He loves the Penguins. He loves the Pirates. He loves the Steelers. He has his opinions about some of the Penguins, like Mr. Christopher. But it's neofusinsurance.com. And the number, this is what happens when we don't have Josh here. It is 412-364-3388. And, Mike, if you ever need insurance on guitars, maybe we could hook you up with Bill. We could go out to lunch with Bill, and you could tell him some stories, and he could insure your guitar for you.
That'd be awesome. Does he insure if I smash it on stage?
Well, that might be a high premium.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it for the show.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Neofus.
Yeah, Bill's the best. We'll make sure we get Bill's name out there before it runs too long.
Yeah.
Just fabulous talking to Mike Minda of the Commonheart right now. A little special summer programming. Josh is on assignment, some stuff. Corey's on vacation next week. So I'm like, let's get Mike Minda in here to talk a little rock and roll and some sports and just have some fun. So you say you're golfing. What are you? What's your handicap?
Wheelchair.
Like,
Crutches. I don't know what to tell you.
Depends on how many beers you've had.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just like doing it. I go to the cheapest local courses just to get some swings in, but I just like being outside and swinging a club and getting angry at myself. You
go to Bird's Foot?
No, I've never been to Bird's Foot. No.
I was there for a golf outing. It got hazy real quick.
Yeah. Nicest spot I ever went to was Chartiers, which is way out of my league. But we went for a bachelor party and got snuck in there basically. And
bachelor parties get dangerous. Golf course.
Very dangerous. Yeah, it was.
But with playing guitar, I mean, you're on stage for like 2.5 hours. That's an athletic endeavor itself. Do you do anything exercise wise or anything to stay in shape to be able to do that, or just kind of been doing it for so long you can just do it?
Yeah. I mean, I work out my right arm a lot, like doing this sort of thing. Just from the chest to the lips, a lot. But no, not too much. I run sometimes, try to stay in shape. I play tennis when me and the wife, or when our schedules align. But yeah, mostly the stage just wears me out. It's like I should prepare more for it, but I don't. And then the next day I'm like, why do my legs hurt?
Well, that's what I'll say this. Like Keith Richards always said, my workout is I play guitar in the Rolling Stones. That's always what his stock line. But I'll say, as much as, you're killing it for the whole show, drummers impress me in that respect. I don't know how they're just not dead tired after one song, let alone 2.5 hours.
They sit still the whole time. It's not that hard.
I remember going to a concert. I won't name the band because I don't want to out the drummer, but it was this concert. It's this like UK band that we happened to be in Toronto, and my wife goes, "Oh my God, they're playing at this like small club." So we went, and I leaned over to her. I said, "That's the first time I've ever seen an overweight drummer like I could remember, like, because like they're like you said, Joe. I mean, that is. But all you guys, like you guys are probably dripping in sweat by the end of the show. Like, it's a harder workout than most people think, isn't it?
I mean, it depends. Like, you could definitely sit there and just play guitar and stand there. But I like running around. Again, the AC/DC influence, Pete Townsend, those are my heroes, like watching those guys jump around. So I'm always trying to, obviously Club Cafe, I couldn't run as much and move around as much. And it was fun to play for an intimate audience. But I like being on that big stage and just sometimes I just like spin in circles or run back and forth. I just love the interaction between other musicians and running around on stage. It's just too much fun.
It was hot in there, though. I mean, it was sold out to the max, and you had what, about 5? Well, you had your regular, your drummer, bass, you, Clinton, and then you had 2 singers, and you had 3 horn players. So
yeah,
it got hot in there.
Well, the horns couldn't even be on the stage.
No,
that's what I heard on DVE. They said it sounded like a cool element, like it being down on the ground. It kind of added like something to it.
Yeah, I mean, it was the whole thing was a magical night. But I know I've played there a few times when it was packed, and I was sweating. And I don't do anything, let alone play an instrument. So, and I'll tell you, I think, were you playing guitar at the Deutschtown, I believe, the festival when you guys did that? When I know Clinton sang for the heavy metal, it was like in a steam room practically, like 5,000 degrees. I think you were playing guitar for that, right? Maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah, we called it the Abby Gross chord. We worked Abby's name in or something. That's our sax player, but I think I know what you're talking about. Little tiny room. It was that was one of the sweatiest gigs I've ever done.
Yeah, that might have been the hottest place I've ever seen anything musical. And I saw the Dead in like Las Vegas, 118 degrees outside. I mean, everyone was just dripping. It was like everybody was doing Bikram yoga, and you guys were jamming. It was just so hot in that place. But that's when you had your metal. You guys were just jamming the metal. It was really amazing. What is Commonheart looking to do in the future? What's like future plans for the band?
We've got another record album, studio record in the works. And we recorded our last year's show at Mr. Small's. We do it every year, pretty much every year in December. And we recorded that show. So we're going to be putting out a live record for that. So that's all in the works. And just trying to keep rolling. We're kind of in a beautiful state in the band right now where we're just trying to enjoy it. I think in the past, sometimes we've taken ourselves too seriously. And especially pre-COVID, it was like I was always just trying to like take it too seriously. And now at this point, we're just trying to have fun. And I think that the audience seems to respond well to that. They just want to have fun too. So we're just playing our music, having fun, trying to put out some new stuff. And that's where we're at right now.
Isn't that everything though in performing? I just know as a comedian, sometimes if you forget to have fun, what are we doing? And the whole crowd is there to have fun. But if you're not having fun, they can sense it. And it makes it a weird a weird experience. And you guys have so many feel good songs. I remember a buddy of mine who played in a famous Pittsburgh band, Blackfish. I don't know if you ever heard of them. They're before your time. They had an awesome guitar player too, Darren. And the lead singer, TJ Speen, is always like, you can't have enough feel good songs. I never forgot that.
You got to get the pulse going.
Yeah.
Just happiness, you know. I know we're talking about how much we love Black Sabbath and Iron Maiden, and they're not exactly happy, joy. But unless you're wearing all leather, you know, you gotta have happy songs.
Yeah, but at the same time, I was just rewatching my dad. He always set me up for success. He got the Ozzy at Budokan in 2002 DVD. I was just watching that. Dude, they're having a party on stage. You know, yeah, they're singing dark lyrics, but you know, they're just having a party. You know, that's actually, honestly, modern metal. I feel like they've gotten away from like Iron Maiden, for instance. People can say Iron Maiden singing about the devil or something. You go and see them; it's almost a comedy show with great music. You know, they got Eddie running around. They're running under his legs and stuff. It's like they're just having a good time. It's honestly feel good. You know, you leave that show feeling better. Really, you know.
My first concert was Ozzy, Motley Crue, and Wasted with Pete Way of UFO. What was your first concert?
My first concert was Joe Satriani. He's like an instrumental guitarist, but Mountain opened for him.
Oh, little Leslie West.
Yeah, this was at the Palace Theater in Greensburg, and probably 2008. My dad took me down, and then they encored Leslie West came out with Joe Satriani's band, and they played "Going Down" by Freddie King, which Jeff Beck also covered, and a bunch of other guys. And it was a great time, memorable concert.
You want to know what my first concert was? It was the 3WS, medley concert at Three Rivers Stadium in like 1993 or 2. It was, I don't remember much of it, but it was, I was thinking to myself, like, I don't know if this is a good first concert. Like, even at like 6 years old, I was like, it's kind of lame, but
no, you might just want to skip ahead.
Yeah, I'll skip to the next one, but you want to know, this will be a little, I want to see Mike's reaction here. The band that I've seen most in concert is Hanson. Yes, like
really?
Bop Hanson.
Bop. Oh man, yeah. My wife showed me that song.
Yeah, my wife is a fan, and early on, I like went and saw them, and I was like, all right, like here's the crazy thing: they didn't buy into the whole like label thing, and they just like followed their audience, and they didn't want to become big. And I was like, kind of like, oh yeah, the guys that look like girls. And then we go to the concert. I'm like, oh my god, they're like really good musicians. Like it's a really good concert. So I've seen them like 10 times. Like every time they come, she's like, do you want to go again? I'm like, yeah, why not? You know, like have a couple beers and listen to some good music. And I see other husbands that like we kind of know each other now. Like I feel like, hey, what's up, man?
It's the same 6 guys there.
Yeah, exactly. Right here we are again. What do you know?
What Holiday Inn are they playing at?
Where did they play? They played Greensburg. Holiday Inn. No, they played the Greensburg Palace Theater.
It's a Days Inn.
They did the Butler Days Inn.
Econo Lodge.
Yeah. But I don't know if you've ever check them out. If you ever go want to like, they play Bop just to like thrill all like the women that are there to hear it. But they're actually like they're a good band. Like they know what they're doing. I'd
love to check them out. This is by
far the most embarrassing moment ever in a year and a half of doing this show.
I'd love to check them out, but I have to chew on some tinfoil, to be honest.
So
I'll schedule that. I hope they're constantly the same day as my colonoscopy. 2 big thrills.
Oh, but
I'd rather you talked about Pirates for the last 10 minutes than talk about going to see Hanson. I can't even believe 10 times. I thought, I was forced at gunpoint to go the first time. And then I escaped.
Hey, I'll be honest. I could go listen to live music anywhere as long as there's a beer in my hand. Like I'm getting that. I love a beer in my hand and listening to live music. Like Even at the church festival, somebody's like, I hear a guitar at a church festival. I'm like, oh, is that some music over there?
I'll be honest. I love going to local festivals and hearing really shitty bands.
It's such a Pittsburgh thing, I'm sure it happens everywhere, but it feels like it's a Pittsburgh tradition. You
got to play
the
guys butcher solos.
Yeah, you got to play the Chuck-a-Luck wheel. Like put a couple bucks down on the Chuck-a-Luck wheel, and drink some warm beer out of a tap that and just so somebody destroy.
I don't know. Like as a musician, are you harder on bad bands, or are you? Because I know as a comedian, I give way more of the benefit of the doubt to comics that are no good than say other people do, especially like maybe my ex-wife or my current girlfriend, where it's like this guy, that girl, this girl. I'm like, they're up there, they're trying, because with music to me, I know it takes a lot for me to really not like you.
Yeah.
Like especially if you're like doing a Allman Brothers or like you're playing the Dead song, where it's like, it's pretty good. This music, it's not comedies. You're not like horrible and like you're ruining my day. It's just music, unless you're a terrible musician. But even that is kind of like, I don't know. Where do you stand on that? I guess, Mike, are you harder on guys, or are you more lenient? Like, they're trying.
I wouldn't say I'm hard on people, but I'm real into the cringe stuff. Like my Instagram feed is a lot of cringe, bad karaoke, And so like, I'd almost rather they just be really bad, because then it's just like fun, When you see someone like in between, it's like, playing the same old cover songs. I just like when people go for stuff, and that's the thing for me is like, if you're playing the same songs as everyone else and doing them the same way as everyone else, you're not really going for anything. I want to see you go for something, like you said, play the Allman Brothers, play something Black-Hearted Woman or something like that. If you butcher that song, I'll applaud you for even trying it. There's odd time signatures and stuff. I just like when people really attempt something,
As a total professional, I can't stand, if there's karaoke going on, I will not go to that bar.
Really?
What's your thoughts on karaoke? Yeah, I don't like karaoke.
I love karaoke. Sometimes my wife and I do karaoke in our basement here.
Oh,
is that code?
Just the two of us.
Is that code for?
Yeah, it's code for we get hammered and sing karaoke, Joe.
Yeah. No, that's great. No, it's funny. No, because I obviously, like, if it's a band, that's great. But if it's just someone singing that's no good, to me, that's just terrible. That's worse than anything. Someone's singing a song, like the words are written out. It's like, oh my God, please no.
Well,
I'm like, let me sing Toby Keith. I ain't as good as I once was, as good as I once was at karaoke. It doesn't have to be good. Just having a good time. I'm a big karaoke fan, weirdly.
But you're a professional singer, though.
I don't try to choose songs that are going to be like featuring my vocals, because I feel like if you're going to karaoke to be like, I'm going to rip here, that's a little cringe. But if you're like, I'm going to sing Margaritaville, that's a lot of fun,
Sure. Yeah, no, it's funny.
What about, we were talking about happy music. What about grunge? That's my jam. That's the vinyl that I have, is a lot of grunge. Are you a grunge fan at all?
Yes. Yeah, but later. I didn't get into the 90s stuff because I was growing up. It was like 1994 is when I was born. And my parents were Beatles fans. They were all into the classic music, Zeppelin and all that. And so my parents weren't really listening to the radio when I was growing up. So I had to find Stone Temple Pilots, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, all that stuff after the fact. Not a huge Nirvana fan. I respect them. I know you're a fan, but for me, it's like Alice in Chains has that borderline heavy metal sound. Stone Temple Pilots and Pearl Jam has really grown on me in the past like 4 years. It's just been like, that stuff is awesome.
Lane Staley have you ever watched their performances? Like for as screwed up as his life was and his mental state probably was, that guy got in the zone like nobody else in that era. You know, like Kurt could get in the zone, but like towards the end, like you just see Kurt like kind of, you're like, he's like kind of half nodding off, like what's going on.
Yep.
But like Nutshell, have you ever seen the live performance in Nutshell?
I have
MTV
not.
Unplugged.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
And I mean, and then like the Rooster, like you can't beat that. Like I'm a huge Alice in Chains fan. Like
I am too, but I'll tell you that the new guy now, he's been around probably 15 years. He does a good job as well. The new guy that's singing for Lane. I mean, he's not Lane, you know, but he's excellent. I actually get to go in the studio with Alice in Chains and hang out a couple of times. So I totally made Jerry Cantrell like, I gotta sing. I gotta sing. You know, Jesus Christ. Then I got a couple of photos. I don't know if I still have them. I had like 5 phones ago, but yeah, we had a lot of fun. He's a great dude. And
that should be your karaoke song, "Man in the Box."
The Man in the Box. It was funny too. And then I'll make this very quick, but they did an incredible Nutshell at the in Los Angeles, and then we went backstage to hang out, and it was the night that the ghost in our house appeared to my daughter, and she freaked out and was making and we had to leave, and I'm like, I'm hanging with Jerry Cantrell, and my wife's like, we got to go now. And he looked at me like, you sad son of a bitch. Like, I'm like, oh my God. Like, yeah, I'm just like you know, my wife, she gave me like 3 tries, like, hey, okay, cut 1 more minute, you know, and she's like, no. And then I didn't find out until a few years ago that's why it was such an insistent thing. We had to leave right then because the ghost told my daughter, get out.
Wait, so hold up a second. You had a ghost in your old house?
Yes, our old condominium was definitely haunted, but by far. Me and our first night there, my ex-wife and my daughter weren't there. Me and Ruby were there, and it was like, oh my God, there's something in this house.
Like something's wrong with it.
Yeah, there's just a spirit, and we still had our old apartment. So I went to, my wife was like, "What? Hey, just move some stuff in," you know. I'm like, okay. We went over there, taking some bags up the stairs. And Ruby wouldn't even go upstairs. I just felt a chill. And then a few times I just felt someone staring right at me sleeping in that bed. But getting back to Alice in Chains, just phenomenal Nutshell and just phenomenal. I also, what do you think of Tom Morello as a guitar player? Because I love when Audio Slave, he would do Rage. When you see them in concert, he would do Rage, and then they would also do Soundgarden songs. It was just the most incredible show.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Cornell has grown on me as a vocalist. But Tom Morello, I mean, Soundgarden's cool, or I'm sorry, Audio Slave's cool, but I mean, Rage Against the Machine is just like the most badass stuff ever. I honestly, sometimes I fall asleep to their 1999 Woodstock performance. Like, it's just so amazing, the energy up on stage there, just jumping around. Like, yeah. Tom Morello wrote some of the greatest riffs of all time, to be honest.
Oh, for sure.
Amazing. Testify, you know, all that stuff. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Yeah, huge fan.
Yeah, I just saw an interview with him, and who did he say was I think he said, now I'm spacing, that's a little late, who his favorite guitar player was. I just spaced.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you ever hear, he told a story one time where he and his roommate wanted a hot tub, but so they started male stripping for parties just to pay for the hot tub that they put in their apartment in LA. But it was basically just like a heating element and a kiddie pool. I can only imagine what it was like. I mean, he was hanging out with all the Tool guys, and I think he was roommate with Kirk Hammett or something at one point, and those guys were all hanging out. That scene has to have been crazy.
How did no one get electrocuted? Just a heating element in a baby pool. What could go wrong with a bunch of wasted rock and roll guys in LA with a bunch of strippers?
Yeah, right. But yeah, apparently he was taking his clothes off at bachelorette parties and paying for a baby pool hot tub.
Speak for a second about Eddie Van Halen. What are your thoughts on Eddie?
Oh, I mean, he's like the greatest guitarist of the 80s, you know, and those, dude, Fair Warning for me is the record.
Yes.
Fair Warning with Mean Street and Dirty Movies and Unchained. You know, that record's unbelievable.
That really is like not the hidden gem, but the one that almost all guitar guys and real metal dudes, like that's the one.
That's the Powerage of
Yes.
Van Halen. It really is. It's like, if you know, that record, Fair Warning, it's like, yeah, so This Is Love. That whole record is so good.
It's so funny talking about like that was the night when Rachel was like, you got to go, you got a flight in 3 hours.
Yeah, I was so mad. Yeah, after Club Cafe, I walked into a bar and you walked out. I gotta go.
Oh my god, yeah, because they were putting like, what's your favorite like power? I'm like, it's got to be Down Payment Blues. I had a Cadillac, I can afford the gasoline. It's my song. But Power H is just you know, for those who don't know, it's in AC/DC's best stuff. Keith Richards says it's his favorite AC/DC album, and I think it's mine too. It's just the best.
Bringing it back to sports, my dad in like 2006 had the Motorola iTunes phone, so he could load MP3s onto it. And when I would go to bat, my walk-up song was Riff Raff, which they just opened with at Heinz Field when you were there too. They opened with Riff Raff, right? No, they opened with If You Want Blood. Yeah, they did play Riff Raff. They played Riff Raff, and I was so stoked. That's my jam.
Yeah, because I happened to look at the set list because AC/DC nowadays they never change. It's the same 26 songs, which is amazing. They're 80 years old, so they're playing 20 songs in arena. But I saw that If You Want Blood opened it up, and I'm like, so I literally just went straight from the airport, and I literally dropped my buddy's suitcase in his car, just like here. We can't miss the friends. If you want, I'm not missing If You Want Blood. You got. No. I've never seen that live.
That is such a jam.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that is the jam. Yeah. Go ahead.
What's your favorite venue to take in a concert in the Pittsburgh area?
Oh, favorite venue to take in a concert. I like Stage AE outdoors.
I love that place.
Gives you a little bit of room. Star Lake could die and I'd be happy. Because I missed half a Dead and Company at freaking Star Lake.
Oh, with that.
Traffic. I was with Randy Baum and Clinton Clegg, and we were going down, and we missed the whole first set, and we left at like 3:30 from Northside. But I mean, Thunderbird is great. Mr. Smalls is great. Club Cafe is a great venue, but it's small. It's intimate. I like to stretch out a little bit more. Huge fan of Thunderbird. The new renovation lets you kind of stretch out a little bit and not feel so clumped in. But
have you guys ever played the Roxy in McKees Rocks?
I've never played the Roxy, and I've actually never been there.
It's a pretty sweet venue. I'm a fan. I've seen a couple concerts there.
Hanson played the Roxy?
They did, actually. That was one of them.
That was supposed to be a joke, wasn't it?
Yeah. Joe with the callback. They also played with the Pittsburgh Orchestra once. I will stop embarrassing myself. I do it. Did you? Now, Chris Cornell was out at Star Lake with Linkin Park, and I got free tickets and got involved in one of the largest mosh pits I've ever been a part of in my life. Like watching guys like take like 10-yard sprints to deck people around like a bonfire started with like clothes that somebody lit on fire. Have you ever been in a mosh pit like that?
Yeah. I would guess that, I can't imagine the Linkin Park mosh pit, but I was at the Altar Bar. Was my first metal show. It was Whitechapel, Acacia Strain, Veil of Maya, Chelsea Grin, bands I'm sure you guys have never heard of. And like the whole entire floor was just a mosh pit. And I was like in 10th grade. I was scared for my life because there's these skinhead dudes just like ready to just bash anybody's skull in who just comes in that pit. I usually avoided the pit. At our local shows I'd get in, but usually I always thought it was kind of stupid, but it's fun to watch.
Oh yeah. From a distance, it's like, oh, do you see that guy just get knocked out? Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Joe, luckily, I can imagine you
the local shows were always like, if a dude gets knocked down, everybody picks him up. You know, it was always like a communal thing. Like, we're all raging, but if you get hurt, we don't want you to get hurt, you know. But someone's going to get hurt.
I think Joe would be a good person to be hanging out with in a mosh pit.
No, I've never been in a mosh pit as a participant. I've worked so much security. I've been in the mosh pit, like helping people get out of them.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I mean as a security person.
Yeah.
So-
Like, as like, if I'm in a mosh pit, I want Joe Bartnick standing next to me.
Yeah.
Now, Joe,
I'm
is that going back to the Fillmore?
Yeah, well, at the Fillmore, but you know, yeah, exactly. The Fillmore, the Warfield. But I actually worked security because I was working security for the Pirates. I worked security. I was front security for Pink Floyd and The Who. I was from the front wall back.
What year?
90, 89, 90.
So not that rowdy. Not that rowdy.
Oh, The Who was definitely out of control.
Really?
Yeah, The Who was definitely out of control. And Pink Floyd, the coolest thing about Pink Floyd was, because, you know, what my job was to pick, and actually, I believe it was for Pink Floyd. I picked, this is a rabbit in the football, in sports, I picked Tony Saragusa to work on the front line.
Huh.
Because the pit would send all their football players down to get like a $300 paycheck for a day.
To just
And we had
barricade.
we'd all, yeah, because because we just had you pick like the 40 biggest guys to land in front of the stage and be behind the barricade. So I would go through and just be like him, and the one was Tony Saragusa. The cool thing was David Gilmour. It's like 3 PM, and it's just blazing hot. And he's just like, "Hey, what song you guys want to hear?" And somebody said, "Learning to Fly," and they just played "Learning to Fly" for like 500 security guards.
Wow.
That's
just
wild.
Them doing like near, yeah.
What year was that? 1990?
Yeah, I think 90,
At
80,
Three
89,
Rivers?
90.
Three Rivers?
Yes.
My
The Who
parents-
the Who was crazy. The Who was the Pink Floyd concert. I think there's way more harder drugs. The Who, people were just nuts from a security standpoint.
I can imagine.
And I was always blown away that like they had the Who. They all had their own limousine. Just like they couldn't even get along and ride in the same car.
Wow.
And I guess, hey, if you're that famous and everyone has their own limousine, but it just seemed weird to me because I was working for bands where 9 of us were in the same, Datsun. Couldn't imagine having your own limousine, right? You guys all travel in a van, right? The whole
Oh,
Commonheart.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, at a certain point, we were an 11-piece on the road, taking up every seat of a Chevy like 2500 van or whatever, or Express or whatever the frick it is. It gets stinky, not fun.
Yeah, once you start to smell each other, you're like, okay, we've been in the
Not
car for a
fun.
little bit.
I worked with a guy answering phones at the Punchline in San Francisco, and he was in a metal band that toured all through Europe. And by the end, the only album they could listen to, I believe, was the second side of Zeppelin 4. And that's the only thing they played to make, because they argued about every single other thing.
Oh my. Well, I still have a memory of Clinton. He's a Tool guy. I'm not a Tool fan. And we're going into Colorado after like 15, 16 hours on the road. And he's driving, I'm sitting shotgun. And we're driving up into the mountains. And I'm just anxiety. Like, I just need to get out of this van. And he's blasting Tool. And all Tool does is build the tension. They never release it. It's just like building. And I was like, dude, you have to turn this off. For the love of God, turn this Tool shit off. And he was, we still laugh about it to this day, but I can't get into Tool. Maybe that's why, but I don't know.
Yeah. So who? I don't think we asked you. Who is your favorite band right now?
Favorite band right now,
and favorite local band right now, besides you guys.
Oh, favorite local band. Well, Tiny Wars freaking brought down the house. You were there that night, right?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. They freaking crushed. Yeah, they were unbelievable. Favorite band I'm listening to right now. I haven't been listening to that much music, to be honest. It's all the old stuff,
Right.
Sabbath and,
Oh yeah, everyone's deep diving Aussie. What I liked about Tiny Wars is they're just like a rock band from like the 70s. And I know it's easy to say they're like Heart because they have two chicks up front that kill it. Abby from DV, one of them, a great friend of ours.
Yeah.
But they just like this rock and roll. It's just rock and roll.
Amazing.
It's great stuff. Well, we're going to let you go. Mike, thank you so much for your time. And plug your Waylon Jennings EP one more time. I want to make sure I get this
so
right.
It's Colin Southfield and the Mushroom Country Band.
Colin Southfield and the Mushroom Country Band.
Yeah, check it out. It's a really, really fun group. And I'm really proud of the record that we made. I think we put it out last year. So check it out.
And where can everybody find you on social media, all that stuff? Where's the best place for them to follow you?
I'm on Instagram at Macaroni and Cheese Minda House. Have fun looking that up.
Macaroni and cheese.
Minda House. Yeah.
Minda House.
I'm not exactly the best promoter, online. So you can find me and maybe I'll post something.
Awesome.
Well, no matter what, go see the Commonheart. They bring the house down, and Mike Minda shreds. If you ever see Mike Minda in Friends or whatever, know that there's going to be some ass-kicking guitar playing. And we can't thank you enough for coming on, Mike. And I want to tell the fans, thanks for listening. And we will be back next week with Josh Yowie, and you will be up to your arse in Steeler talk and Penguin talk. So it's a little summertime break. Talking a little rock and roll with a absolute ass-kicking guitar player. And we always try to support our own in Pittsburgh. And you got to support the Commonheart because they are big time. And it's like they're not a local band. They're a national band that happens to be from Pittsburgh because they kick ass.
Well, Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Corey, for having me. It was a blast.
Absolutely. I was going to say, not because of the mullet, but, it's like we let our hair down. We got to talk a little rock and roll, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, you are welcome on the show anytime you want to talk. And, maybe we'll have some more Commonheart tie-ins here because I have not been to a show yet. So that's where we're going to go next.
Got to come to the next one, Corey.
Mike froze. Oh, Mike froze.
No, he's cool.
Oh, he froze on my end. So hope that doesn't make it in the recording. But no, Mike, thank you so much. Check out the Commonheart, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Peace out.